All men need to hear this. She doesn't want what you think. Old Stoic wisdom. You could give her the world and she still won't care. That's a hard pill to swallow, but it's the truth. In this discussion, we'll explore an uncomfortable reality most men are reluctant to face. No matter how much you give her, gifts, constant support, or being there every moment, if you're not providing what she truly craves, none of it will matter. She might leave. She could lose interest. Or, worst of all, she may start to treat you like you're replaceable. And then you'll be left wondering, after everything I did for her, how could she just walk away? Welcome to a space where we speak the truth. No fluff, no sugarcoating. Today's conversation is tough but necessary. We'll uncover the 5 things women really want from a man, and why all your well-intentioned efforts mean little without these core needs being met. This isn't about putting women down. It's about truly understanding them. Once you grasp what really matters to a woman, beyond all the polite smiles and social media quotes, you'll stop wasting your time, energy, and resources on the wrong things. So, why do so many good men feel overlooked or taken for granted? It's because they think being nice, loyal, and generous will automatically win her affection. But that's not how attraction works. Women don't fall in love with effort. They fall in love with impact. In this video, I'm going to expose the truth. No more guessing. No more hoping that being the good guy will be enough. I'll break down 5 key things a woman actually wants from a man. Once you understand these, you'll stop overgiving and start standing out. Let's get into it. Number 1. Effort doesn't equal desire. Men are conditioned to think that the more effort you put in, the more you'll be appreciated. It's true in sports, school, and business. The harder you work, the better the results. But here's the catch. When it comes to women, that mindset can actually backfire. Women aren't swayed by effort alone. You see, the more you try, the more desperate, emotionally needy, and low value you look. You've got to face this uncomfortable truth. Just because you're doing everything doesn't mean she feels anything. Desire isn't logical, it's emotional. She doesn't think, wow, he bought me dinner twice and texts me every morning. Guess I should like him now. That's not how it works. What she craves is a magnetic pull toward you, a feeling that doesn't come from how much you do, but from who you are, your presence, confidence, and unpredictability. So let's break this down. Picture this. A guy meets a woman and floods her with attention. He offers rides, gifts, compliments, and always replies to her messages in seconds. He thinks he's being the perfect gentleman, proving how committed and serious he is. But here's the thing to her. It feels all wrong, too much, too soon. She starts questioning why he's trying so hard. She wonders, what does he want from me? Why doesn't he have a life of his own? And that's when the red flags pop up. Now, contrast that with the man who doesn't overextend. He shows interest but doesn't throw himself at her. He's got his own life, his own rhythm. He engages her without trying to impress. This guy doesn't need to force anything. He's the type of man who makes her wonder. What's his deal? What's he about? That curiosity turns into attraction. That, my friend, is how you make her feel something. The lesson here is clear. Effort without impact is just wasted energy. You're not being judged by how much you do, but by how you make her feel. That's what desire is built on. So, work smarter, not harder. If effort alone worked, every nice guy would be married by now. Instead of trying to impress her with all the things you do, focus on making her feel the right way. Be confident, be present, be unpredictable. The rest will follow. Number 2. She craves emotional power, not presence. Let me tell you something. Most men never seem to grasp. Women don't fall for the man who gives the most. They fall for the man who makes them feel the most. That's the hidden truth. It's not about what you buy her or how much attention you shower on her. It's about how deeply you affect her on an emotional level. A lot of men think they can buy love or loyalty. They assume that if they give enough gifts, compliments, constant attention, she'll come around. But here's the hard truth: women want emotional leverage in a relationship, not a man constantly handing over his power. They crave emotional engagement, not the security of knowing everything is in its place. You see, women don't want to be emotionally dominated. They want to feel your energy and attention, but without having you completely in control. It's a power dynamic, a subtle dance, and most men hand over all the power without even realizing it. They give too much, too soon, and the emotional edge, the spark, dies off. Here's the kicker: you could spoil her with gifts, plan every detail of her special day, and treat her like royalty. You could be the most giving, attentive partner on the planet. But guess what? She still might feel emotionally disconnected. Why? Because it's not about the material things you hand her. It's about the feeling she gets when she's around you. If she feels like she's the one in control of the relationship, the one with all the certainty, your emotional connection will fizzle out faster than you can say, romance. Don't make this mistake. She doesn't want to be worshipped. She wants to be stimulated. She doesn't want the comfort of predictability. She wants the thrill of emotional engagement, the kind that keeps her on her toes, her heart racing, her mind buzzing, curiosity, anticipation, tension. That's what she craves. If you're always trying to win her approval, making everything easy for her, she'll start to lose interest. You'll become predictable, and predictability is the death of attraction. Let me break this down. Providing for her emotionally is not the same as constantly pleasing her. These are two very different games. And if you want to keep her emotionally captivated, you need to stop thinking that providing equals pleasing. You can be generous without being weak. You can show love without being predictable. You can make her feel secure without giving her the reins. Here's the truth: most men never face when a woman gets used to you giving everything and expecting nothing in return. She gets bored. The relationship becomes like a comfortable routine, and soon enough, she starts seeing you as someone she can manage, not someone she craves. Once you lose that emotional edge, that spark, the attraction fades, quietly, almost imperceptibly, and you'll wonder where it all went wrong. So here's the big takeaway: women want to feel emotionally alive. They don't just want to be treated well, they want to be moved, stirred. They want a man who can make them feel something, not just provide them with things. Stop trying to buy affection. It can only be earned through presence, unpredictability, and emotional depth. That's the real currency in a relationship. Number 3. Nice guys are her safety net, not her choice. Nice guys. It's time to face the truth. Your kindness doesn't guarantee her love. It merely ensures you remain her safety net, not her first choice. You've heard it all before. Be kind, be respectful, be supportive. These are noble virtues. Yes, but in the real world, the nice guy often ends up as the emotional backup, the one who gets leaned on when things fall apart, only to be ignored when someone else catches her attention. She may call you sweet, dependable, and always there for her, but in the end, you're just the one she turns to when she needs comfort, not the one she dreams about when she's alone at night. Nice guys never challenge, they bend over backward, always saying yes in an attempt to be loved, and in doing so, they fade into the background. The problem isn't that women hate nice guys, it's that they lack the edge that stirs desire. You see, attraction doesn't thrive in predictability. The more you give, the less she feels the need to choose you. Control kills mystery, and without mystery, there's no fire, no spark. You must know this respect is earned through strength, through having boundaries, and through the ability to walk away when necessary, not by waiting for validation. No one's drawn to a doormat. No one's magnetically attracted to someone who never challenges them, never says no, and never asserts his own needs. Attraction is built on polarity. It's built on being the man who commands respect, not the man who begs for it. Remember Marcus Aurelius. He didn't wait for anyone's approval. He built himself up quietly, relentlessly, from within. In modern life, the same principle applies. You must stop orbiting around her like some satellite waiting for her recognition. You are the center of your own universe. And if she fits, great. If not, you won't shrink, you will expand. That shift in mindset is powerful. It will take you from being her emotional support to being someone who demands attention. A man who values himself will never beg to be chosen. He will be impossible to ignore. Do not shrink away to fit her needs. Stand tall in your own value. This is the shift from nice guy to magnetic man. When you stop hoping to be chosen, you become the one who can't be ignored. The great Stoic, Epictetus, once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. A man who desires nothing but to be noticed is already lost." Don't be that man. Create value in yourself, and the world will take notice. If you've been stuck in the nice guy trap, now is your moment to rise. Don't become cold. Don't pretend to be something you're not. Simply stand firm in your worth. You are the man who should never have to chase. Let her chase. Number 4. Validation makes you weak in her eyes. Let's address this once and for all. Everyone likes to feel appreciated. Compliments are nice. Being told you're amazing or that you mean a lot to someone can really boost your ego. But if you find yourself constantly relying on her words to feel good about yourself, you're not receiving validation, you're begging for it. And here's the thing, women can smell that desperation from a mile away. You've got to get this through your head. Validation-seeking behavior is not only unattractive, it's downright repellent. It screams that your self-worth is fragile. You need her to remind you that you're a man before you can believe it. And once she picks up on this, something inside her shifts. The admiration she once had for you starts to fade. She no longer sees you as the leader. She sees you as someone who needs constant reassurance. And trust me, that dynamic kills attraction. Let me be blunt if you're fishing for compliments, over-explaining yourself, asking, "Are you mad?" every time she goes quiet, or becoming visibly anxious when she isn't constantly reassuring you. You're draining your masculine energy. Deep down, you know it. You feel it when you shrink back in those moments, when you should have stood tall and firm. You know that sinking feeling when you apologize for having standards just to avoid upsetting her. You shift your words, water down your beliefs, all so she doesn't pull away. That's not strength, that's performance. And every time you act that way, you teach her not to respect you. Every time you beg for validation, you weaken yourself in her eyes. Listen, it's time to stop the cycle. Don't wait for her to tell you that you're enough. Don't seek out that reassurance. Instead, be the man who doesn't need anyone to validate him because he knows his worth. Own your presence. Command respect. Show her that you are complete without her approval. You must stop being the man who crumbles when he doesn't hear the words he's waiting for. You need to stop being the man who seeks constant validation, because that's the quickest way to kill attraction. So here's the bottom line. If you want to be respected, admired, and desired, stop begging for validation. Don't be weak. Be the man she can look up to, because she won't look up to someone who's always looking for her to tell him who he is. That's not what she wants. She wants the man who's solid, confident, and secure in himself, with or without her approval. Number 5. Mystery beats consistency. Every time. Listen up, gentlemen. If you've ever found yourself thinking, "All I need to do is show her I'm dependable," or "If I just stay consistent, eventually she'll realize my value," let me break it to you gently. You're already playing the game wrong. And the worst part, you don't even know you're in the game. You think you're being a good, reliable partner, but when it comes to attraction, particularly female attraction, mystery always beats consistency. Every single time. Now, I can already hear the protests. But I've been told that being steady and reliable is the key to keeping her. We've all been fed that line, right? The idea that if you're just available, dependable, and show up on time every single day, you'll win her over. Sure, consistency does have its place in a relationship. But here's where most guys go wrong. Consistency without polarity is just a one-way ticket to monotony. Think about it. You wake up, send the good morning text. You check in at lunch, you plan the dates, shower her with compliments, always there, always steady. You're predictable, so much so that it's almost like she could set a clock to your behavior. But here's the dirty little secret. Without excitement, without unpredictability, you're just fading into the background. You become the safe guy, the one she can rely on, but not the one she craves. Why does this happen? Well, when she can predict exactly what you're going to say, do, or even feel, it all becomes background noise. You're no longer sparking that inner fire, that excitement. You're not creating that emotional spark that gets her heart racing. She knows what's coming before you even open your mouth. And that, my friend, is the kiss of death for attraction. Desire thrives in the unknown. It thrives in the mystery. It's not about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not, but rather about holding a piece of yourself back. Keep her guessing, keep her intrigued, and most importantly, keep her wanting more. You don't need to be the guy who's there every moment of every day. Instead, be the guy who occasionally drops a surprise, something she never saw coming, something that reignites that spark. Don't be predictable. Don't let her see every side of you all at once. Be the man who challenges her, who sparks her curiosity, who gets her wondering what's next. That is what creates desire. That is what builds tension. That is what keeps her coming back for more. Because when you're too consistent, too reliable, and too available, she starts to feel like she's seen all there is to see. And when that happens, my friend, your value drops faster than a lead balloon. If you want to stand out, mystery is the key. Hold something back. Keep her on her toes. This isn't about being deceptive. It's about keeping her emotionally engaged, keeping her curious, and keeping her wanting more. So, the next time you think, I just need to be dependable, stop yourself. Yes, show up when it counts, but also leave room for the unexpected. In the end, the woman who is drawn to you isn't the one who's impressed by your consistency. It's the one who's intrigued by the mystery you leave behind. Be the mystery. Number 6. She wants to feel challenged, not worshipped. She doesn't want a fan. She wants a force. Understand that now. She craves challenge, not worship. If you believe placing her on a pedestal and endlessly praising her will keep her by your side, you are gravely mistaken. Such worship, though it may feel romantic to you, is empty and shallow to her. Women don't want perfection. They want something far deeper: polarity. Polarity is the spark that drives attraction and connection. And it does not come from mindless adoration. It comes from real challenge. But let's be clear, challenge doesn't mean petty arguments, nagging, or starting unnecessary fights. That's the behavior of someone who lacks maturity. True challenge is energetic, dynamic, and powerful. It's about having the confidence to stand strong, unapologetically yourself. It's about showing up with purpose and ambition, not to impress, but to match her strengths and encourage her growth. A true man is not one who is always right, but one who knows how to be wrong in the right way. As Marcus Aurelius once said, embrace your own strength. Don't cower in her presence. Stand beside her, meet her where she excels, and push her when you sense vulnerability. This creates real attraction, real connection. She doesn't want to be worshipped like a flawless goddess. She wants to be challenged to rise, to expand, to become the best version of herself. That's where you come in. You must be her equal, not her fan. Embrace the dynamic of strength and challenge, and you'll build something far more lasting than fleeting adoration. Real men lead with confidence and depth, not shallow praise. Let that guide you, and you will see how everything changes. Number 7. Being needed is not the same as being wanted. There's a dangerous illusion many men fall victim to, and it's this: if you're the one she depends on, if you're the solution to her problems, the one who picks her up when she's down, you'll secure a permanent place in her heart. It feels noble, even masculine, doesn't it? But here's the cold, hard truth: being needed is not the same as being wanted. In fact, they can be worlds apart. Need breeds dependence, and dependence is about survival, not attraction. A woman might cling to you because it's convenient, because she's afraid, or simply because she doesn't know how to stand on her own. But clinging isn't choosing. Clinging is survival. Clinging is not love. You don't want to base attraction on that shaky ground. When someone needs you, it's because you fill a gap in their life, whether emotionally, financially, or otherwise. But when someone wants you, it's because you are the gap. You are the reason they feel fulfilled, not the remedy to their brokenness. Think about it. You've probably been there before. She turned to you when her life was a mess, crying on your shoulder, venting her frustrations, seeking your help. It made you feel important, like you mattered. You thought she was choosing you. But once she found stability, once she got back on her feet, what happened? She pulled away. Your presence faded in significance. You became less interesting. She didn't need you anymore. And in that moment, you realized you were never really wanted. You were just useful. Useful doesn't equal magnetic. It doesn't mean you're valued for who you are. It means you were there when she had nowhere else to turn. Let that sink in. Stoicism teaches us to seek clarity over comfort. And clarity reveals the bitter truth: being someone's emotional crutch is not the same as being someone's emotional desire. So, how do you know the difference? Simple. When someone wants you, they reach for you when everything is fine. There's no crisis. There's no emotional breakdown. They don't just need you to fix things. They want your company, your presence, your mind, not because they're broken, but because they're whole. They value you, not as a bandage, but as an equal partner in their journey. And here's the key. The man who attracts that kind of desire is the one who isn't obsessed with being needed. He's not bending himself into a fixer or a provider just to feel valuable. Instead, he stands strong in his identity. He doesn't need to rescue anyone to feel significant. He doesn't seek out the emotionally fragile to prove his worth. He simply exists, rooted in his strength. And that energy, that's what draws people in. Being needed comes from lack. It's tied to someone's dysfunction. Being wanted, however, comes from your presence. When your value is tied to being needed, you'll always chase relationships that are unstable or chaotic because that's where you feel most important. But that's not power. That's a trap. Your worth should never be defined by someone else's brokenness. You want to be desired, not because you're a solution, but because you embody the standard. Be the man with boundaries, the one who walks away when the dynamic becomes one-sided. Don't confuse pity with partnership. Here's the hard truth: when you build a connection based on being needed, you're constructing a time bomb. Eventually, she'll outgrow the need for you, and if the relationship wasn't rooted in mutual desire, it will crumble when she no longer relies on you. I've seen this happen before. If you've ever been discarded once she no longer needed your support, it's painful, but it's also the lesson that wakes you up. You stop falling for the damsel in distress routine. You stop proving your worth by being the fixer. Instead, you show up as a man who offers value, not because someone lacks something, but because you're already full. That's the difference. When a woman encounters a man who doesn't need to be needed, but is still deeply present, deeply masculine, and deeply whole, that's when true attraction begins. So don't be her rock because she's sinking. Be the mountain that stands, no matter what. Wanted, not used, never again mistaken for a tool. Number 8. The less you react, the more she feels. Here's a secret no one bothered to tell you. Growing up, the man who doesn't react is the one she can't stop thinking about. Sounds simple? Right? But let's dig deeper. In relationships, many men are taught that to be a good partner, you need to be emotionally available, always responsive, validating every moment, never leaving her uncertain. The idea is that if you're always there, emotionally open, she'll feel secure and loved. But here's the thing, that kind of hyper-responsiveness, it often backfires. Why? Because emotions, especially female emotions, don't thrive in full stability. They thrive in polarity. And one of the most powerful elements of polarity is restraint. Yes, restraint. Don't confuse it with coldness or shutting down, but with calm, an inner stillness that holds its ground. It's the ability to observe instead of reacting, to absorb pressure without losing your center, to stay still when she's testing your frame, and believe me, she will test it. On some level, Every woman wants to know, can I move him? Can I shake his center? Can I pull an emotional reaction out of this man? If every mood swing, every delay in texts, or every flirt with withdrawal gets a rise out of you, she will stop seeing you as a rock and start seeing you as just another wave in her emotional ocean. But if the answer is no, if you remain composed, thoughtful, and measured, something else happens. Suddenly, she's the one leaning in. The calm, that non-reaction. It becomes something magnetic. It's the kind of masculine tension that makes her feel more than any emoji-filled text or 3-paragraph voice note could ever do. In that silence, there's space where curiosity thrives, where she wonders what you're thinking, where your silence says more than 1,000 words. That's the spark. That's what makes her feel. Here's the part most guys don't get. Reacting quickly often comes from insecurity, not care. It's fear-driven. You're afraid of losing her attention, afraid of silence, afraid of not fixing the mood instantly. But here's the thing, that fear energy leaks, and once she smells it, she knows she's the emotional leader. Let me tell you, once she starts taking the emotional lead, she might stay with you physically, but emotionally she's already detached. Women don't want to be the emotional leaders. They want to feel led. And leadership isn't about control. It's about direction, calm, intention, and knowing when silence is the best response. If she's upset and you rush in with frantic apologies, what does she feel? Unsettled. Like she's with a boy trying to avoid trouble. But if you look her in the eyes, grounded, and say, I hear you. Take your time. You've just brought masculine energy into the room. You didn't run. You didn't chase. You didn't react. You responded. That's power. The less you reacted, the more she feels. Not because you're playing games, but because your non-reaction creates space. And in that space, she processes, she reflects, she wonders. And in that wondering, she feels drawn to you. Think about it. When's the last time you felt drawn to someone who remained calm under pressure, who didn't flinch, who didn't get emotionally tossed around like a leaf in the wind? It's magnetic. The Stoics called this ataraxia, inner tranquility, the ability to stay unshaken even in the midst of emotional storms. It's not about being numb. It's about being unfazed by what doesn't deserve your energy. That includes petty arguments, passive-aggressive texts, emotional baiting, and tests designed to trigger you into proving your worth. You don't prove value through reactions. You prove it with presence, with discipline, with stillness. If you've ever lost control just trying to keep her close and felt emptier afterward, listen up. If she knows exactly how to push your buttons, guess what? You've handed her the remote. But when you take that remote back, not by being cold, but by staying solid, you stop being easy to provoke and start becoming impossible to forget. When she can't move you like she can with every other guy, she starts to respect you. And when that respect kicks in, desire follows. So breathe, pause, let silence work for you. She doesn't need your instant reaction. What she needs is your unshakable presence. That's where the magic happens. Number 9. If she doesn't earn you, she won't value you. Let's face the truth. The old narrative that you have to show up, be available, be generous, and consistently care for her in order to win her over. It's misleading. Yes, these actions matter, but they are not the foundation that will make her stay. The hard truth is this: if she doesn't earn your time, attention, and commitment, she will never truly value you. And that's the painful reality you've seen unfold. You gave her your time, your energy, your heart, sometimes even your money. You placed her before yourself, before your goals, and sometimes even your self-respect. In return, at first, she seemed grateful, affectionate, responsive. But over time, the shift occurred. She grew colder, more distant, less engaged, and now you're left wondering, what did I do wrong? The answer is simple. You gave before she earned. People do not value what comes too easily. You're not a consolation prize. You should be a reward. And when you make yourself easily available, when you give without any challenge, she subconsciously labels you as default. The issue isn't about playing hard to get or acting distant. It's about living by your own standards. It's about knowing that your time, your presence, and your commitment are reserved for women who meet you with equal energy, honesty, and effort. You're not punishing her. You're simply letting her prove that she deserves your investment, that she is willing to show up with the same intensity you bring to the table. This is how a woman earns you. A woman can like you, but if she didn't have to bring anything to the relationship, she won't view you as a high-value man. She will see you as someone hoping to be chosen, and the moment you hope to be chosen, you lose your edge. A man who knows his worth doesn't chase affection. He doesn't prove himself through overgiving. He lets women reveal themselves through their investment, their respect for his time, their consistency, and their effort without him having to ask. When a woman earns access to him, she values him. She respects him because she worked for it, because she felt the cost of being close to him. This is why casual flings fade so quickly. There is no tension, no process, no effort. It's just easy access. And with easy access comes burnout. But when a woman senses that your attention is not for sale, when she knows it is not handed out freely, when she understands that it must be earned, that's when she wakes up. That's when she gets curious. She begins to wonder, what makes this man so grounded, so self-assured? This is when attraction deepens, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Stoicism affirms this philosophy. A Stoic man doesn't chase after people or pleasure. He knows that his peace, his value, and his purpose come from within. He doesn't seek validation or throw his presence around like cheap candy. He moves with deliberate intention, and this quiet power attracts others irresistibly. A man who understands this is a man who commands respect, not by demanding it, but by simply living by his standards. You must remember this if she doesn't earn you. She will never truly value you. A high-value man is never easy to take for granted. Number 10. Emotional detachment is your superpower. Let's talk about one of the most misunderstood, yet most powerful qualities a man can develop: emotional detachment. Now, I can already hear the objections. Doesn't that make me cold, unfeeling, distant? No, my friend. If you understand emotional detachment in the right way, you'll realize it's not about being robotic or indifferent. It's not about shutting down your emotions or pretending you don't care. That's weakness, not strength. That's avoidance. True emotional detachment is the ability to feel deeply, without allowing your emotions to control you. It's the strength to stay grounded, especially when everything inside you wants to react, especially when things with her are tense, especially when it hurts. Because here's the truth. The more emotionally hooked you are on her reactions, her attention, her validation, the more power she has over you. And most men don't even realize this. Every time you respond to her silence, every mood swing, every "we need to talk" with a sense of urgency, you're losing your center. You stop leading. You stop being the man you were meant to be. You start chasing, not leading. You begin spiraling in her world instead of staying grounded in your own. Emotional detachment is the key to regaining that power. It allows you to pause instead of panicking. It allows you to sit with discomfort without needing to fix it immediately. It allows you to watch her pull away and not collapse inside. It lets you face rejection, hot and cold behavior, or even ghosting, and not lose yourself in it. That's the power of emotional independence. It's magnetic. You see, emotional detachment is not about being numb, nor is it about shutting people out. It's about being emotionally independent. A man who doesn't depend on someone else's approval to feel whole has the power. The man who values his peace over her validation will never need to chase after her. He will be the one she can't stop thinking about. That is the power of emotional detachment. Here's the paradox you need to understand. The man who needs her love to feel complete will never command her full respect. But the man who can walk away from the relationship, who values his peace above her approval, is the one she can't get out of her mind. That's the essence of Stoicism. It's not about being numb. It's about being strong, about choosing to observe your emotions without letting them dominate your life. You feel the frustration, the desire, the pain, but you don't let those feelings dictate your actions. You choose your response, not based on impulse, but on clarity. In a world full of people reacting to every stimulus, the man who chooses to be still, to act with intent, becomes a rare, valuable treasure. He's the one who stands as the eye of the storm, calm, focused, immovable. That's the man she respects, the one she follows. But here's the thing. Emotional detachment isn't something that comes instantly. It's something you have to train. Every time you don't text her back immediately just to get a reaction, you're training. Every time you sit with discomfort, instead of demanding an immediate resolution, you're sharpening your edge. Every time you give her space without begging or chasing, you're becoming that dangerous kind of man, one who is emotionally independent, one who can't be controlled by her moods, her silence, or her withdrawal. When you reach this point, you're no longer a puppet on her string. You've taken your buttons off the table. You're in control now. When she texts you, you respond from a place of choice, not need. When she's distant, you remain centered. When things get rocky, you stand as the anchor, unshaken. She can feel that in her body, in her breath, in the way she looks at you differently. That's what makes you magnetic. That's what makes you a man who's worth following. Because emotional detachment is not a wall, it's a throne. You don't need to protect yourself from her. You need to protect your peace from your own weaknesses. You need to choose stillness over drama, clarity over chaos, yourself over the temporary high of being wanted by someone who doesn't truly appreciate your worth. So, no, you're not cold. You're just too grounded to be thrown around anymore. And that's your superpower. Use it. You've made it to the end of this post. And that tells me something important. You're not here for quick tricks or shallow advice. You're here to evolve. You're here to build something deeper within yourself. Because at the heart of emotional detachment, boundaries and presence, it's not about her. It's about you. It's about the man you choose to become. When no one's applauding, when she pulls away, when life doesn't hand you what you want, that's where your real masculinity is forged. So, if you're ready to build that version of yourself, if you're ready to evolve and not just talk about it, hit subscribe, join the brotherhood. And if you're serious about leveling up your mindset, presence, and power, join our Stoic members community. That's where the real work happens. No fluff, no distractions, just men doing the deep, hard work. So, don't wait. Start choosing emotional detachment today. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. I hope this message resonated with you. Remember, relationships are complex, but the best thing you can do is stay grounded in your own worth and strength. Don't let misconceptions or outside pressures distract you from your true value. Keep your power and use it wisely. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, stay calm, stay dangerous, and never hand your power to anyone.